All right, Scuffy, I know you normally take the lead on these things, but when we got what we got in the past week, and knowing me and my fandom, I think I have to take the reins on this intro. Welcome back to Inside the Show. We got a lot to talk about here today, but the thing I have to start it off with is 99 Shohei Ohtani. Like, did you think that we would be saying we have a 99 Shohei Ohtani in the middle of July when the season started? Like, did you even think that? Because I remember at the beginning of the year, you said that Ohtani has the potential to be the best card in Diamond Dynasty. Is this the card that you were expecting? Is this the type of caliber? Because this is insane.
Not right now. I did not expect this right from the All-Star. You know what's funny? Because we were trying to guess, like, how many cards is Ohtani going to get? He has a potential getting All-Star game card, Home Run Derby card, even Player of the Month. He had a possibility for being June because he had a great June, but it went to Schwarber. But when we saw that 99, and the way we saw it too, it was kind of hidden at first. Like, we didn't see the collection, and then all of a sudden, you just see Twitter blow up that there's a 99 Shohei Ohtani, and you look those attributes. Without a doubt, this has to be the best card that we have for a player. Well, I mean, it's better than Babe Ruth because it could pitch and hit. I'm not putting Pepe in the I don't know in this conversation because that's a fictional card. But this Atani card has I, I I was speechless. Very speechless. Just imagine if you could actually use that card in the field and then pitch. Actually get to use it all around like your cap. That if you were able to use this as your like how you do the cap, could put it in position and then pitch when you need him, and you regen stamina when he's in the field. You know how great this card would be, and how just a cheat code this card would be. Like you said, this would, and I still think is the best Diamond Dynasty card we ever got.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. If you take out the fictional cards like Pepe Alazar and guys like that, absolutely. I think as far as a real MLB player, this 99 Otani is the best card that we've ever gotten just on paper and what he does. He's not the best pitcher in the game, and he's not the best overall hitter in the game. He's pretty good. He's near the top. But it doesn't matter. He doesn't have to be the best of both. The fact that he can do both very effectively is enough to put him over the top over anyone else. So 99 Shohei Ohtani being in the game right now, like it blew me away. And like you said, the way it was revealed, I'm walking around FanFest in Colorado with Kyle, Shelfie, Adam, Fuzzy, and we're seeing some of these cards come out on that Monday at noon Pacific or whatever. We're scrolling through our Twitter feed, seeing what all these cards look like. It's like, oh man, look at Jared Walsh, look at this Trey Turner card. Oh, 99 DeGrom. Like, we're all getting stoked for it and everything. And then I think Serenity, our friend Serenity, tweets, I don't think they meant to show this, and it's that 99 Otani, and we just all looked at each other like, there's no way they didn't actually do this. Because if, dude, like you said, if you think about it, Otani could have possibly received 3 cards just from this set alone.
Mhm.
If Jared Walsh didn't get that kind of last second all-star nod, I don't know what they would have done. I don't know if this card would have been in the Angels Team Affinity 3. I don't know if Acuna would have been the collection. We'll talk about Acuna in a little bit. Like, this could have gone in so many different ways, and I think the way they did it was awesome. So
Oh yeah.
we're going to talk about all this Team Affinity 3 All-Star game content, all this type of stuff, but I think we just had to get it started with quite possibly, for me, the most exciting card release in my Diamond Dynasty memory. So let's get into the rest of the stuff, because we're not going to make the whole entire show about Otani.
I know. It's funny how you say it's probably the best release card. I think we had the best release week of content
Yes.
last week in Diamond Dynasty. We had Team Infinity 3 All-Star content, and then we got also a program which we didn't see coming. It just everything that just went in there, and just the hype around the community was a lot of fun to see. It's basically ha- as we get into it, like let's start up with the Team Infinity 3 and then move on. But with Team Infinity 3, it was basically a finest 0.5 release. Like I say, half release because it's not the end of the year. It's like the midway. This might be their way of having first half cards go into the future. Get what I'm saying? Like usually now we have second half cards. All-star cards in the past weren't really like first half cards. It was just their all-star year. Now I think this is here to stay. And I think this is how they're going to development for future iterations of the game. I could be completely wrong. It's just me just putting my tinfoil hat on. And this be a new type of series is these all-star series cards will now be effect of being those first half end game types of cards. Does that make more sense?
Yeah, no, I could definitely see that. It makes sense. Considering, or as long as they continue to release 99s at the time of year they want to release them, as long as they continue to do that around the July midsummer mark, I think that's definitely a good way to look at it because, like you said, like the second half cards could be really really good. And this is kind of just a way to celebrate that first half of the season. And as long as it matches what the other scaled content is, like ranked season rewards being 99s overall or 99 overalls, BR rewards getting to be 99s, like it all kind of makes sense and it all helps to make these cards usable, which I think is the biggest thing that needs to happen because there's other team affinity sets that we've gotten where you're mainly only focused on like 4 to 7 cards.
Mhm.
The other ones are there just to complete a collection. With this one, it's like you could genuinely make a case for pretty much any one of these cards to be on like a god squad, and they're all free. Well, at least the team
Yeah.
affinity ones are free, not the other ones. But it's just they're giving you so many options and so much flexibility with your team and your lineup diversity that it's crazy how they're able to do this and release the biggest content drop or the biggest week of content they've ever done just in the middle of the summer, not even at the end of the year when it's finest. It blows me away that or the level of, I don't know, planning, if that's the right word, but just the level of intricacy in the content they release. So I'm a big fan of this whole thing, man.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Now let's dive deep into the cards now. We're not going to go through all 30. But let's go through some favorites since it's been a week now. I'll start with my five that
Mhm.
just jumped right off the bat. Of course, the Grom. I'm being a Mets fan. I see a 99 Grom is always going to be fun to see and play with. So it's basically kind of his finest card. We're probably not going to see a better DeGrom card throughout the year, which goes through my mind like what could be a finance card for the Mets, but we'll get there as we get there. That Matt Olson looks good. You know what struck me was the relievers, the Soto, the Reyes cards. Those cards jumped out to me because I, for me personally, I loved using Gregory Soto for just his live series card for bronze, and then we bump him up to a 95. Absolutely stellar card with the sinker, of course, being meta pitch, and then has the high velocity. And then we got the Alex Reyes, who has 5 pitches, including a 12-6, a sinker, a high velocity fastball. It was very fun to see those cards and being I would say end game type of relievers, you could plug them, even though that we're going to be talking about the new flows card that's coming out, which is a reliever. But these cards still could be end game type. I mean, all these cards could be. But personally, I got the cards I wanted. I got my Tio. We were talking about that before on last week, and I would say those are my like top five right there: Olson, Tio, Soto, Reyes, and then DeGrom. And the thing is, I don't think there's any wrong answer here, Cougs,
No.
with where you put your top five, top 10, because that Castellanos looks good. There's so let me hear it. Let me before we get more into it. Let me hear what you got of just.
um
It doesn't have to be a top five. Just what cards struck out to you.
Yeah. Well, the ones that really stand out to me, if we're just talking about Team Affinity 3, um, number one for me has got to be Trey Turner. That Trey Turner card is
Oh
an
yeah,
absolute stud. I've been playing him at short. I've been playing him at second. I've seen some people moving him into the outfield, playing him in center field. Um, and I'm not sure exactly where I want to fit him in yet because I still do really like Jackie Robinson. So I'm wondering if maybe I move Trey to the outfield if I can find a spot. But Trey's bat is so good. If I pull up his stats right now, in 30 plate appearances, I'm hitting 448 with a 1398 OPS. Like it's hard to get out with that card. I also really like, I agree with you. I like the relievers a lot. Hader, Soto, Reyes. I had a rocky go with Reyes at first, but I started to kind of calm down a little bit. Um, of course, I got to go with, maybe a little bit more of a biased pick, but Jared Walsh. I
Yeah,
like having him on my bench. He's one of the best bench bats against right-handed pitching you can get in this game. And last but not least, well, I guess this isn't Team Affinity 3, but just a little spoiler. I love Soto. I can't
I
I
love
can't
so.
hold back,
Well,
Scuffy, when there's a
I
Juan
know.
Soto card.
I want to hold on because I want before we get to like with the home run derby cards, I want
Yeah,
to
yeah.
get your experience of the home run derby, and then we can talk about the
Okay,
cards.
okay.
But yeah, that's Soto is great. You know
I got
what
too
other
excited.
card?
I'm sorry.
Hey, I don't blame you. You know what other underrated card is out there, and you must try right now is Cedric Mullins. hundred
Oh,
percent.
yes. No, I have given him a go. He's good.
His swing. I mean, his swing has always been. He was on my bronze bandits when he was actually like my MVP when we got to championship series with them, and just to see how he's the John Smoltz of this year. You know that,
Yep.
right?
Mhm.
He's like 4 cards, but I'm not complaining because I love all of his cards, and Cedric Mullins is so good. I will plug him into left field. I won't put him center because his arm is not the greatest, but still, it's like Kenny Lofton type, but with pop.
Yes.
That's what it is. And once you hear Kenny Lofton with pop, especially like Lofton 19 from MLB 19, that's where it's at right now. So that Cedric Mullins has been great. There's other cards I still want to try. I haven't got to yet. Like I always love Zunino cards just for the meme itself. You know what's funny? Did you see how? Well, I forgot one announcer botched like Zanino's name, and everyone was getting up on the social media and just like, how can you not say Zanino's name? Me personally, I've been not be able to pronounce his name correctly. I don't even know if am pronouncing his name correctly right now. For the past like 2 or 3 years, because how much I loved using his card, and I felt attacked here, Googs. I just had to let everyone know I felt attacked. I felt like everyone knew that I couldn't say it, but it really wasn't the case. That's just me being self-conceited. But it if his contact wasn't where it was, that card would be really good. I think against righty, he has like 48 contact, but his power is always up there, and his lefty contact is up. But still, that's a card I do want to try out, see if it would be sneaky because I love his silver cards, live series or his flashback. So I don't know.
Yeah.
That's another underrated one I might be able to choose. But yeah, Garcia also being good. I thought he was sneaky, but going back to Castellanos is basically he has 125 contact both ways. If
Mhm.
you get him power 1, and then he has a power, and then everyone loves Castellanos cards.
Yeah. No, Castellanos is definitely a stud. It's once again, you can make a case for almost anybody in this Team Affinity program to be a stud. Like everybody's got something going for them. Like you said with Cedric Mullins, yeah, he's got 50 arm strength. You want to plug him in like left field, but he's like Kenny Lofton with pop. He's got that other element that makes him really good. Some of these pitchers who might not have the greatest um arsenal, some of them have a sinker or some of them have really high per nines. Like everybody's got something that makes them somewhat usable, if not really, really good. So just a testament to how much they killed this content drop. It was great.
Oh, without doubt. And I don't even think we talked about the events before too, where we got the events rewards, where we got the Cespedes. Because I remember last
Mm.
podcast I was telling you, you said you want the Cespedes card, the home run derby. I was like, no, it can't be. It can't be because I want the second half Cespedes card. What happens is the home run derby Cespedes cards. But later in this podcast, I have a case where we still might have a possibility, even though I think it's very slim, that we might still see second half Cespedes. But we'll talk about that a little later.
Okay.
But we got who do we get? We got Zach Greinke, the
Then
future
the
star card
future
from
stars catcher,
Padres,
yeah.
and then Cespedes. I mean, solid event. Remember, it's 3 events to get all these cards. It wasn't just a moonshot. And there's one going on right now, and there'll be one going on
Hmm.
after this.
All
So you
part of
have
the
plenty of
same
chance.
reward path, yeah.
Yep, exactly. So now let's get to it. First, before we get to the cards, let me hear it. Let me hear about your home run derby experience in Coors Field. Probably one of the greatest home run derbies I ever seen, which was it kind of lived up to the potential. I mean, just from that first round, I couldn't. Well, actually, you were there for BP, so I couldn't imagine how hyped it was BP when you saw Otani hit what five something foot like third decker.
Yeah. It was pretty insane. It was wild. I was there with Fuzzy, I was there with Shelfie, Kyle, and Adam. Five of us. We just decided to have some fun, go to the Derby, get some nice seats. Got there early to see batting practice, and we were all stoked to see Otani. I think Otani only took like one round of BP though, versus some of the other guys who were getting a lot of swings in. So guys that stood out to me a lot in BP that I wasn't expecting to really see hit the ball as well as they did. Salvador Perez
Oh.
was crushing it in BP, and he showed it in his round when he faced Pete, unfortunately for him. But him and Trey Mancini in their BP rounds, they were spraying all over the field and they were hitting everything hard. So once I saw their BPs, I was like, all right. Well, let's see if they can translate it to the actual, 3-minute timer. And it was amazing. I had never been to Coors Field before. Beautiful stadium, just a great outfield to look at. There's so many different food spots in the stadium, and just there's a lot of. It reminded me a lot of Cleveland, where there was seemed to be a lot of like personality and character in the stadium, which was really cool. So really liked Coors Field. Great first experience there. Um, of course, during the Derby, I would have liked to have seen Shohei do a little better, but he started off a little slow. And if he got one more homer, he would have beat Soto in that first round. And then, of course, they tied, and then they went to the tiebreaker, and then they went to the swing off. It was an amazing, amazing round. It was great.
That was probably the best first round we ever had.
Probably the best first round, yeah, because in 2019 in Cleveland, Vlad and Jock, that was the semifinals. Because
Yeah.
after that, Vlad went to go face Pete, and then of course Pete won. So yeah, no, it was definitely one of the better home run derbies. I don't know if I would 100% say it was the best, because I think the best one was still 2019 personally.
Oh yeah,
that one
that was the best
incredible.
round ever.
Yeah,
No
that was
one's ever
incredible.
going to live up to that.
So either way, I mean, I've told this to a lot of people. If you ever have the chance to go to the home run derby, or like if you have to choose between the derby and the game or something like that, go to the home run derby. You're not going to regret it. It's, in my opinion, the best event in sports. I've been to World Series games. I've been to basketball playoff games. I've never been to the Super Bowl, sorry. But in terms of any sporting event I've been to, the home run derby is unlike anything else, and it's so much fun. If you're a baseball fan, you got to get to one. Wherever you can get there, just get yourself in that stadium at least once. So yeah, no, it was amazing, Scuffy. I had so much fun.
Yeah, I always say it's the best like event at an All-Star game. I mean,
Mhm.
it's always star powered. I mean, NBA Dunk Challenge already used to have like all the stars in it, not as much as anymore. But yeah, it's on my bucket list, because maybe next year when Pete Chai goes for the repeat, maybe.
Come out to
Maybe.
LA.
I know. I would love to see it, man. I would definitely love to see it. Pete looked like that's his like element in
Mhm.
those in that atmosphere. It just looked effortless from him, and he was like the most relaxed I probably ever seen him. Where he's like, "Yeah, I got this."
Yeah, no, he is built for the derby. That guy could hit 10 home runs for the rest of his life and still win every derby, just
Yeah,
because that's his element. That's where he thrives.
and that's where he gets his salary.
Yeah,
If you
pretty
think of it,
much.
if you guys didn't know, he makes I think around 600K the past 2 years, and he won 2 mil from the past 2 years, so above his salary. Although he did donate his winnings last year. Not sure about this year, but still, that's just crazy to think about. But
Also,
with that,
one more
oh,
thing to go along with Pete. One
mhm.
thing that a lot of people will brush under the rug and not really talk about, his pitcher. That
Oh
guy
yeah,
put it in the same spot
yep,
every single time, and it just makes his job so much easier to hit the
yep.
ball. So,
It's funny because he was our Luis Rojas got thrown out yesterday's game, so Dave Joss had to actually be our manager yesterday, and he got a nice win. So shout out
nice.
to him for getting the Mets back. Did you see that first inning? What happened with the Mets?
Yeah, I didn't really know what happened. Like,
Oh
I mean, I
man.
figured I knew what happened, but
Oh,
it just seemed like one of those things where
oh
it's like,
no.
what are you doing?
The Pirates are just like the kryptonite to the Mets. I went last week to City. I went with Paul Cini and then our friend Subby, and it was a doubleheader. And then the first game was it was just hard because Anderson, the pitcher for the Pirates, went yard. I was like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. And then it just, I don't know. The Pirates just have the Mets number for some odd reason. But it's funny because us Met fans, we're looking at the schedule and being in first place, like, all right, this is where we take away the division. This is where we get comfortable. Nah, that wasn't the case. But
That did not happen.
yeah, that's a different story. So let's get back to the home run derby. So we had the home run derby, and then of course we get the live content, which we saw in 19. This time around, we get all 8 cards here, Kooks. We don't get just the semis, and we don't get and the finals. We get all 8 participants. We from they did a base, mid, rare, and then I guess what's the last round they call it usually?
It's base, mid, and rare.
Oh, it's Space Mid and Rare. That's what I
Yeah.
thought. I saw I was wrong there. But yeah, we get 8 cards. It came out, I think, around 2 a.m. on the east side, and people were hyped up. We got 99 Pete. I guess it's funny how long Pete really lasted as probably one of the top first basemen in a day, but we'll get to that more. But overall, you were saying the Soto. Let me hear it. I haven't used that Soto yet, but let me hear it. It's that good.
He's that good, man. I know there's that 80 contact versus lefties. I know that sometimes throws people off. It might as well be 180. He's insane, bro. He is finest Soto from last year. I do not
Oh,
care that he has 58 fielding. He is in my outfield. I am
it's
normally a
121
guy,
power.
huh?
Is 121 power both ways?
Yeah, 121. Yeah. I'm looking at his card right now. I have him parallel one, so it's 121, both sides. He's the guy again, Scuffy. He really is the guy.
Even with the defense? Because
Even
we
with
all
the
know that home run derby cards get less defense. So
Yeah,
you don't
and
mind putting them out there?
nope. And he had, I
Okay.
forget what he had last year. I think on his finest, I think he had like 70. So he wasn't even great last year on defense.
It was his reaction that was good, though.
Yeah. He's got 61 reaction on this
Okay,
card.
that's
He is
doable.
not gonna win you any gold gloves, but it's okay because he'll provide 3 runs at least every single time offensively. So Soto's a stud. Love him. I was worried with that contact at first, but it's okay. He's good. He made it.
Yeah. And then we got what? The Trey Mancini in the elite round, well, the rare round, and then, of course, the 90. You know what surprised me with the 99 Pete? They gave him the contact.
Yeah.
So they really made that into a 99 card.
Yeah.
Like they didn't just do it like how they did it from previous years where the contact was very low and they needed 125 power. He's a first baseman. You don't really have to worry about his defense as much as you need to for outfield. But like you said, if you could use that Soto outfield and gain that production in outfield, why not? Why not? I really want to use the Massini card because I love. We were talking about this last podcast. I love using. You don't like the gold card, but I love the gold card. I love his live series card. So I haven't got to use it yet, but I'm hoping in the near future I get to use that. I faced that Trevor Story, and let me tell you, that Trevor Story every time just
Crushes
kills
it.
me. Yeah, it kills me. I don't know. He has that Trout type of swing of his. So, but
Yeah.
either way. One more thing. The Savi. I want to bring you the question. What's better? This was a debatable question all last week. What's better, Team Infinity 3 Savi or Home Run Derby Savi?
That is a really good question. Man, I don't know. So I'm using Team Affinity 3 Salvi on my bench
Okay.
for when I need a guy to pinch it against lefties and
Mhm.
to basically, give me a backup catcher if I need him. I would say Team Affinity 3 Salvi's better. Obviously, Salvi's got the 117 power against righties on the home run derby card, but I think overall when you factor in everything, and I'm probably going Team Affinity 3.
Team for 3. I'm the same way. I just want my defense a little bit better. I think he has doubled the speed too, 38 over
Yeah.
18.
Yeah.
Home Run Derby card. But still, it was fun to actually debate that. And like I said, if Savi just didn't face Pete, he would have moved on to the semis because he had 28 home
Pretty
runs where
much.
Pete had 34. It's just he put it on a show. You can't just tip your cap. Unfortunately, just that's how it works. And so we got the home run derby cards, and then we had the All-Star game right after. And let me say, the AL, I don't know what it is, but they just have the NL's number. Was it like the past? I forgot how many years, but it feels like I feel like the past 10 years AL won. That's what it felt like. I don't remember the last time NL team won, and that game was good. It was good to see, but the highlight, and of course that's what we're getting to right now, was that Vlad blast showing. If I was in that derby, I was still made the case and try winning it, and he freaking put that was like a home run derby type of home run because
Yeah.
that was like back row of the course field, which is a long freaking way. I don't care about the
Yep.
altitude or what. That's a long way. And once that happened, everyone knew. All right, move over, repeat. Here comes Vlad, just
Yeah.
like that in an instant.
Pretty much. Yeah. And the Vlad card, he has, Pete's gonna have the better power for winning the home run derby. But the Vlad hasn't beat on the contact, man. And the contact's a big deal when you're playing at those higher levels. Plus, like you said, defense doesn't really matter, but it can never hurt to have better
No.
defense. Vlad's up at 75. And it sucks for Pete that happened. I've used them both, and I like them both. But I think at the end of the day, all the stuff that Vlad provides for you is just going to be slightly better to use than Pete. And they have so many guys you can plug in at first base now. You think about all the guys you could put at first base: David Ortiz, Vladdy Jr., Pete Alonso, Eddie Murray. There's another big one I'm probably forgetting. 99 Prince Fielder. He came out this past week too.
Yes. Yep.
So, I mean, dude, if there wasn't a plethora of first basemen before, there is now. They don't need to release another first baseman until August, September,
Yeah.
November. Never. Like, just leave them all the way they are. They're so good. So, um, and then the other 99 in that pack, the other 99, Freddie Peralta. You
And they
giving
gave
this
him
card
the
a shot
sinker.
yet?
No, but they gave him the sinker. They're
They-
playing to the meta so much. They
yeah.
attack it. You could some people could complain about that, but for me, I like it to make more cards usable. We were talking about this last year with Mo. I'm fine with do that. Does that bring up the question? Do sinkers need to be nerfed to make other pitchers more effective? That's a possibility, and that's a different road to go down and bigger discussion, I think. But for now, they do attack the meta, so I like to see that. But go on. I haven't used them though.
I haven't used him either. That's why I was asking because I mean he's got a good pitch mix. I mean that sinker, like you said, definitely helps. I don't know though. I don't think he's going to be that crazy. I think he'll be a solid pitcher. He could be serviceable for
Yeah.
sure, but I don't think he's going to be wild. But um, any of the other cards stand out in this pack to you? I know there's one that I used that I liked quite a bit, which
I
is
always like JTB removal cards just because of his swing. The Lance Lynn really strikes out to me. I think that's I wouldn't say underrated card in that, but what strikes me from last year was the finest Lance Lynn and how many top players used it because of his pitch repertoire. I don't know if that Lance Lynn has a cutter too. Correct me if I'm wrong, but last year his finest card had a sinker, cutter, fastball, and he had just a nice fluid motion that you could use for analog. But now we have pinpoint, so that's a different story. I mean, people still use analog. Don't get me wrong, but I think that could be a very nice starter that you could use.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That Lance Lynn is good. He's got great pitch mix, and the 116 hits per nine helps him out too. And at the end of the day, like if you're good with pinpoint and you have a pitch repertoire like this with those hits per nine, like you can make anybody effective. Like it doesn't even matter what their motion is. It doesn't matter who they are. If you can hit your spots with this pitch mix, like you're gonna have a successful outing. So very good card. I've heard a lot of good things about the Xander Bogarts too, the 96.
Oh, okay.
Because he has gold fielding, and Xander's never really been, known as being the best fielder. But with his high contact numbers, his power basically around 90 on both sides, and then having gold fielding with 81 reaction, it's a very solid shortstop right there. Definitely rivals the Correa that we got in the last player of the month set.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. And a lot of people, I like Bogart's swing too. Very easy, compact, righty swing. So I haven't tried him out. There's a lot. That's the thing. There's so much content that it's going to take me like a week or two to just try out all these cards. But that's the beauty of it. You can mix up your lineup screen just from TA3 and All Star content. Not only that, we didn't even talk about the program that got. Well, we kind of did, but the Cunha program that got dropped. And I think you might have been right. You said If Jared Walsh didn't make it, would Otani been part of the TA3 and Acuna been the collection? And since Jared Walsh made it, maybe they made a last minute change to make that Otani the collection. And then, hey, we could add a new card now and create a new program real quick and include that Acuna. Like,
Yeah.
I'm very curious behind the scenes if that like is really the case or they just had this plan all along. But
Yeah.
I like adding the Acuna because he's going to be out for the rest of the year. A lot of people thought it was going to be Hank because it was dropping on 715. We all know Hank hit 715 what for the record with the 715 home runs, and I we're not going to get the best Acuna card if they didn't do this now because he wouldn't got a finest. I don't know if they would have done a flashback from last year. They could have, but still, this is a nice way to get it.
Yeah, no, that's exactly why I think they had this guy set. Just because it's unfortunate that he got injured with the season that he was having, and with that he probably wouldn't have gotten a finest just for missing that much time. So I think this is a really good way to get 99 Acuna in the game. Let everybody at least have a 99 Acuna to use. And this card could definitely be viable towards the end of the year too. It's not like he's just good now. Like he's
Yeah,
99, really good stats overall. Like he's right there. So yeah.
I love me Acuna. Oh man, I was so disappointed with I don't know these injuries, man. We had Jazz yesterday. I'm not. That looked a little serious. Then Acuna just going down. That I just man, I know that I'm a Met fan and he's Braves, but you never want to see these young stars go down like that. But
No.
yeah, quick recovery to him. But yeah, I love Acuna cards. I always will. I will be having him in my lineup for sure and rotating him in and out as we go. But so we got Team Infinity 3 All-Star content, and then today they went over, well, throughout the weekend they were going over Flawless Wars, but before we get to that, we have a new ranked seasons where we got 99 Larry Walker and then a 99 Goose Gossage. So those are new cards. The Gossage is a milestone card, and that for his 300 saves, and then we have the Larry Walker, which is the MVP 99 Larry Walker. Now, I'm going to start with Walker because that's where it was the most debate. Goose Gossage is just Goose Gossage, 99 Goose. It's what we expected. However, just seeing what type of year Larry Walker put up for his MVP awards card, did you expect it to be a little bit better? Let's just say with the righties attributes, it's right where it's at. But the speed and then his attributes for against lefties.
I would have loved if it was better. I have not looked at his splits that season, so I can't say if it's accurate or not.
Okay.
But just looking at what we have on paper, the 125 against righties is fantastic, and when you're
Mhm.
facing guys like Edward Cabrera and now 99 Jacob DeGrom and maybe Lance Lynn, like that's going to be really really nice. Uh, but 99, 80, and you know all the lefties you have in the game. Tom Glavine, Al Leiter, James Paxton, Vida Blue, all these guys, especially as a lefty, it's going to be a little bit rocky, in my opinion.
Mhm.
He still has great defense, great fielding, only 69 speed, which is not as good as he had last year. I don't think, actually. I don't remember off my top of my head. I thought it was a little higher. Um, but overall, compared to the Larry Walker card we got last year, this, in my opinion, is definitely a downgrade from the signature series overall because that signature was so good last year. He was
Yeah,
amazing.
78 speed.
Yeah.
Where he had 60. I mean, he had 33 stolen bases. I'm not too sure how much that translates. He had 8 caught stealing. He had 49 home runs, 130 RBIs. His OPS was 1.172. Absolutely ridiculous. I mean, his OBP was 452. It's just that year was absolutely insane for him. Although now looking at splits more toward, I might have been wrong. I mean, he only had 6 home runs. For his slugging was 521 against lefties, where it was 788 against righties. So maybe I'm the one that didn't really do the best research for that. I think just I think we just expected to see the 99 Larry Walkers that would be boosted up much more than we previously thought. It gives me Bryce Harper vibes, does it not?
Kind of, yeah. Yeah, yeah. That's a good comparison.
Yeah. So and this is the time when do we get that 99 Bryce? Do we get that? It
Um,
was a program.
seventh inning program, I believe.
Oh wow. So and that was later in the year.
Mm-hmm. It
Oh yeah.
was either
Hey,
seventh or sixth, one of the two.
I mean, I was still trying him out, see how it goes. I mean, his swing is always nice. So we'll see where he goes. But I am a sucker for goose cards. I always have been, especially when he has outlier and he just I don't know. I always have good success with any goose card. I love the goose card from last year with the reliever. Hey, maybe we'll get him for tomorrow, which we get the new BR program. So we already saw that Kenley Jansen's going to be one of the flawless with his milestone card, and I think they released who else did they release today? Oh, why is it going? It was a awards card.
Are you talking about the flawless or the
Yeah,
90?
talk about flows.
It's Kenley and oh man. Well, the other guy they released today is not a flawless. He's the 90-point reward.
Oh, did it? Okay. Then I misread. What was that?
That would be
Oh, the
95 Jorge
Jorge Posada.
Posada. Yep.
Oh,
So we actually don't know who the other flawless is. We
no,
know
we don't.
Kenley and
Yeah, the
Posada.
Jorge Posada. But that's the 95 and Posada cards.
I
Hey,
know.
me and Posada go way back.
I,
We go
I
we
know.
go way back. His Signature Series card from last year, even his 91 from this year, I loved. But my God, we're going through it. First, we're going through first basemans like through maybe through days, and now like we're going through like week after week with new catchers that we could put in. It's just it's fun. It is a lot of fun when you have variety to your lineup.
Absolutely. And some people might say they're adding too much too fast. I say, bro, this is when baseball is hot. This is when baseball
Mhm.
is exciting. Capitalize on all of it.
Yep.
Like, this is post All-Star break. We're going to start getting these playoff races. Like,
Mhm.
give people stuff to be excited about, man. Let people have fun with these cards. Let people enjoy different players, lineup diversity, different team builds. I think it's good. I think it's good that
Yep.
they're releasing all this stuff.
Yeah, I agree. And some cards I want to kind of manifest for the BR program. I was saying this last night. I want the silver Mike Stanton card, the rookie Mike Stanton.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because I will love because we had that when he was called Mike Stanton, which you call Stanton, and I want either gold AJ Ramos since he's still in the game
Yep.
from the breakout Marlins card, or do we see the return of rookie silver Billy Wagner?
Ooh, that would be a
So,
really good one.
so those are the type of cards, and I would like to see something new mixed in. Maybe I would love to see if they brought back like the tops now Nico card, or even the Christian Stewart card from 19 was really good for silver. But I don't know. I have many. I could go down like a full list here,
Yeah.
Boots, of what
Pretty much, yeah.
flashback cards I want for BR. But yeah, those are the type of cards I'm looking for tomorrow. But who knows? We might have something new up our sleeves.
Yeah, you never know. I'd love for them to do a guy that I really, really liked last year in BR. I would love to see a like maybe like a silver Pedro Strope out of
Oh,
the
okay,
bullpen.
okay.
That'd be a nice little 2020 flashback or whatever.
Mhm.
It's hard to think of some of the other ones, but he's a guy where he doesn't play as well for me this year if I pick him up. But last year he was like one of my go-tos. So I'd love to see the return of a Pedro Strope.
I wonder if they already gave us a Darren O'Day. I wonder if they'll give us like a flashback Joe Smith now.
I think
'Cause
didn't he had a decent card one year, I think, right? Didn't he have
I
a
feel like
gold?
he did too when he was with the Indians.
Yeah, I think he had like a gold flashback or something. I could be
Yeah.
wrong.
Oh, let's see if I could look this up on the spot. Gold Joe Smith MLB The Show. Let's see if Google could put something up here. Nothing's popping up. Okay. But I feel like he did have a nice flashback before. Either way, I could see that being a possibility, being knowing that he's a typical BR card that we get to use, even though he's a bronze now, still effective. But let me see. Remember, we have no roster update this Friday. They're going to give it a little bit more time. I think the next roster update would be on the 30th. So we got another week to get your investments in. I mean, we just got started with the second half. So I don't know. The only card I could think right now that I thought it was going to go down before is Savi. I feel like Savi's right there on the cusp, but we'll get more into that next week. Uh, and Cougs, I do want to bring this up. So we got probably like we said before, we got so much content this week. And probably the best like week we had in Diamond Dynasty ever. And today they actually released information for And you know me, I'm very and for both of us, we're very keen on competitive MLB The Show, and they released that they're doing their first esports tournament, um, and it's the summer circuit. And what difference from ESL from last year is that they are bringing back a format that we love to see in 19. The roster, we get to create our rosters once again. Not only that, it's on legend difficulty for the top competitive players. Perfect umpire is here, which it was not last year. They made I gotta say, they always listen to community on feedback from ESL. They're not even on ESL anymore. It's Battlefy. I don't know much about Battlefy, but either way, I didn't see this coming. I wasn't sure if they're going to do one. But we have esports tournament here, Cougs. I think the one thing that was getting on us last year was more ESL than the game itself, right? Or maybe it was the format and ESL with being the BR redrafts, drafts, and then the settings not being what we thought it should be, like having not like we finally get perfect umpire. Well, that was a big. It's something minor, but something very big.
Yeah, no, I think it was a mix of a lot of things. I don't think it's
Yeah.
completely on
Yeah.
ESL. I think SDS, they had the ability to, make some changes and add some things and take away some things tournament to tournament.
Mm.
Um, but I don't know. It just kind of felt like they stuck to their guns all year, which I didn't really understand. But either way, we all made our complaints pretty, or all our critiques pretty apparent. We were very
Mhm.
vocal about it, and like you said, they do a good job of listening year to year. Like, some people might want a fix or a change right away, and that is not always possible. But they do a very good job year to year of changing things to make it better or make it more optimized for the next cycle. So pretty much everything they've done with this, having perfect umpires. I know you said it's a minor thing. I think that's a major thing. Um,
Well, I'm saying it was like such a minor change because it's going from one setting to another, but it is a big change.
yeah, yeah, it's the problem with that is that there is no other online game mode in Diamond Dynasty where perfect umpires are
Mhm.
off. So there's no real way to like practice that other than playing friendlies with perfect umpires off, and then you can't really even with perfect umpires off, it's still hard to practice because it's random. It's RNG. It doesn't provide a good competitive experience, and you know, so that's one of the biggest things. Not being on ESL is huge. I don't think ESL itself was necessarily an issue. I think it was the people running the tournament through ESL and the fact that nobody from ESL had any idea what MLB The Show was about or any idea of how these competitive tournaments should be run or how they've been run in the past. I hope there's some sort of, you know, uh, there's some sort of community knowledge from the people involved in running this. I don't know much about Battlefy or whatever it's called either, but I hope anybody who's on the back end of that at least has some sort of knowledge
Yeah.
of MLB the show and team restrictions and stuff. Because if you look at um, the rule sets for the tournament, let me see here. They have uh I think you put up a screenshot or Scan put up a screenshot or something of some of the rules here.
Yeah, it's
Um
I'll give you right here. I put it up.
yeah.
Um,
Where did it go? Where did it go?
Here you go. I got it.
Okay.
Sent it over.
Okay, so there was yeah, the team build stuff. So you have 395 plus overall ratings or below, 385 to 94s or below, blah 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 blah. The problem with ESL in years past is that you'd have that team build and then somebody would be playing up on inside edge or a parallel card is more than the base overall. It's like, okay, so where does that fall in? Like ESL had no idea what they were enforcing when it came to that stuff. They were forfeiting people for having a guy with inside edge playing above the 85 or
Well,
whatever it was.
let me interrupt. It's funny that you bring that up. Now that's a factor. Like, say someone's up, being inside edge. Like, say you have a 90 overall that's playing up to like a 95. It's a 95 card now.
Okay.
Same with
So
Pyro.
so so that's but that's another testament is that they're
Yeah.
listening to that complaint and they know now that that's going to be a factor in the tournament. So once again, they're helping to change. That was one of the major problems with ESL. Just in a more broad sense, they just didn't really know anything about MLB The Show and how competitive tournaments are run and how the competitive environment is supposed to be. So as long as everything kind of rolls out the way it's supposed to, and as long as everything that we're seeing on paper actually translates into the game, we could be looking at a much better and a much healthier esports environment for this year and hopefully for years to come. Because, in my opinion, it couldn't get much worse than ESL from last year.
Yeah. And I bringing up the content before because I liked them trying to draft, see how it worked, and it kind of just overall, I think it didn't work as expected or as we like to see. And now being able to pick your team again, and not only that, with the content team putting so many attainable cards that you don't have to spend a lick for, and a competitive team while at it. I mean, just look at the Team Infinity 3 cards. You could build a team just from that and from the BR program itself. Um, and be able to have a competitive team for these tournaments. So the paywall's not there. It's not there. You might make a case like say, oh, what about Chipper Jones? There's cars that could probably play up to Chipper Jones or even better, depending on how you like a certain card. And I love this approach. I had a lot of fun in 19. And it was with this type of approach with the roster restrictions. And I am excited to see how it plays out this year.
Yeah. And even like you said with the Chipper Jones thing, it's like you still can only have three players around that
Yeah,
level,
exactly.
or it's a team build. You're sacrificing certain positions and you're sacrificing certain things to meet the team requirements, which I think is the way it should be. Like you build your team the way you want, and you build your team in the best way you think. It gives you the ability to compete at a high level and play against somebody with the chance of winning some money. So I think that's really good. I think the only thing that I'm seeing in this is that I don't really like is the adding friends instead of it being like kind of in the game where you kind of go into a lobby and both people are
Yeah.
there. I don't know how that would have been programmed. I think at least if there's one positive we can take from ESL last year, at least it was you could get into games very easily and there wasn't a
Mhm.
lot of, you know, reliance on the actual players to like send friend requests and stuff. It was pretty easy to get that done.
Yeah.
So I don't love the fact that we're going away from that, but if that's the trade off we have to make for a better rule set, a more healthy environment, and just a better overall experience, then we'll take it. We'll
Yeah,
sacrifice that.
exactly. And do note that another thing was adjusted was the time too. Now it's early. It's very
Very
early,
early. Yeah, it's
especially
like
if you're on the
9
west
a.m.
side.
Pacific. Yeah.
Yeah, and then 12 on the east side. I mean,
Or
that kind of if I won't be able to compete because times regardless. I like the later time just for me, but that's just a personal thing. But I kind of like how they adjust it so they don't make it like a, I guess, all night affair. Because I I remember, I think it was last year, the first round. I was like, all right, screw it, I'll do it. I was up until like 5 a.m., 6 a.m., just trying to find my last game. And if it was like this time frame, it would have been like maybe even time or just like 6 p.m. time. So I do like that adjustment. We'll see how it plays out. I could see that being changed a little bit, maybe up an hour or two, just to give the West Coast people to wake up a little bit. But still, if you're going to be committed to playing this, you'll get up.
so I guess my question
Hmm.
is so the qualifiers. So I'm looking at this chart right here. It says open qualifier 1, qualifier
Yeah,
2,
yeah.
qualifier 3, and it has the times on it. There's like multiple different dates and times, like open qualifier 1 July 19th at 7 a.m. Pacific, and then July 24th at 9 a.m. Pacific, and all until all matches are complete. I'm not really
I think
100%
that's
sure.
day two,
That's
right?
day 2, but then they have, but it says July 19th, July 24th, and then July 25th.
Oh.
And then
Yeah,
open
that is weird.
qualifier 2 says July 19th, August 7th, and then August 8th. So is it like
Yeah,
a 2-week thing?
that is weird. I
So
don't know.
yeah, if
There has to be
maybe
more information. I hope they like do like a video, like
I
informational
yeah,
video.
that would be maybe like with coach.
with that, and then going through the Battlefy UI, so you know what to do on that. And then maybe show a sample of like sending a friend requests and stuff like that for
Yeah.
like the new users out there. Since this is cross platform, which is first time ever, I think that's pretty big. So that's cool.
Oh, wait,
I
hang
think cross
I might have
platform for
answered
the
my own
first.
I'm
Oh,
sorry, not to interrupt. I may
you
have
answered.
answered my own question.
Okay.
Uh, I think there's the summer circuit, which the
Hmm.
qualifiers are July 24th and 25th. Um, and then August 7th and 8th and August 21st and 22nd, with the grand final being August 28th and 29th. And then there's the exhibition tournaments, which is July
Oh,
31st, August 1st, August 14th, August 15th. I think that may be what it is. I don't know.
okay.
Either way, we'll
We'll get
get
more
some
information.
clarification. It's not
Yeah,
worth
yeah.
diving too
Because I
deep
was
into right
saying
now.
today's the 19th.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So wait, what?
yeah,
Maybe that's a sign up. Maybe that's a sign up day.
yeah. That's probably a sign up thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
I probably cut out the other thing that was more crucial when we need it. It's probably a sign up thing, and then
Yeah.
the first qualifier is a 24th, which is a Saturday, and then 25th will be day two. That sounds more like it
Hmm.
because it's the same Swiss format as we've seen before. So you play, try and make it to day two, make it day two. Not only that, more 9 inning games now. It's not all
Yes,
3 inning games,
that's good.
so
Good.
that's very good. Because once you get into those best of best, 9 inning games is where it should be at, not 3 inning games. So that's gonna be fun to see. But regardless, I'm looking forward to it. I'm not sure if myself I have time to play with it. Um, with you last year, didn't like ESO just wasn't for you that year
Mm-mm.
because just how everything was. With you looking at now, are you willing to give it more a shot right from the rip, or you want to wait and see how it goes first? Like, see how the first qualifier goes, and then, okay, maybe this is something I want to do. Say the second qualifier.
Uh, I'm on the fence. I kind of want to try. I may see how the first qualifier goes, because that one's usually kind of rocky because everybody's trying to play that one at first. And I'm not anticipating myself like being in the grand finals or anything like that. Like
No, no,
it would be more
it's
for,
just fun to compete.
yeah, it'd be more
That's
for
yeah.
fun, for content, for that type of stuff.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know. I may not do the first one. Just also time. There's a lot of
Yeah,
stuff going on. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, I'll probably play in at least one. Yeah.
yeah. It's still gonna, yeah. That's what I'm saying. If I do it, I want to see how it feels structured, see the comparison, and then
Yeah.
I just like to compete,
Yeah.
regardless. Try to give it my all.
And
But then again, it's on Legend.
yeah, and
So
like we said, it's hard to do much worse than they did last year. So
yeah.
I mean,
Uh-huh.
in theory, everything should run much more smooth this year and
Yeah.
shouldn't have as many hiccups.
I mean, it's as long as you progress, everything can build in one day. We all know that. So as they learn through the bumps in the road, that's all that we want to see, and just see the progression, which they have been doing from year in year out.
Mhm.
So, but we'll have probably more to talk about that for next week, because next week, Cougs, we're gonna actually have. I think this is our first interview. No, not. I get, yeah, pretty much our first interview. We had special guests on the podcast this season, but we haven't had our first interview, and we're gonna have a special guest who is familiar of the esports, but through another game, and that was Madden. And we're gonna have Michael Skimbo, um, joining us for our next episode, which is gonna be a lot of fun. He plays MLB The Show, plays, I mean, from Madden. We all know how big he won, I think, 2 Madden belts, and it just was very successful through Madden Esports. And then he started playing MLB Show this year, and he's highly entertaining to watch on Twitch. And I just want to gather his thoughts on how it goes from one sports game to another, and then probably bring up this summer circuit and how he would approach esports through MLB The Show with the experience he had with Madden. So that should be a lot of fun next week.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting conversation. I'm excited to pick his brain a little bit.
Exactly. And it's always fun to have someone from another sports community jump into MLB The Show. And it's just, the more the merrier, and as we always say. And but yeah, that'll be for next week. This was a lot of fun though. This week was a lot of fun. We got a lot of new content We'll have that interview next week, and then we'll have the new Flawless Awards, the one Flawless Award to look forward to next week, and then see what else drops. New roster update and much more fun stuff. Cougs, it's been a lot of fun. You got your 99 Ohtani.
I
If we
know,
want to
man.
go full circle here. And you know what? That Ohtani might be the most valuable card to use in the summer circuit, by the way. I meant to bring that up. But
I think he'll be, especially if pitcher energy isn't going to be a factor. I don't
oh
know.
man, yeah.
I don't know.
Just to have that extra bat.
Don't give away the strategy, Scuffy. Don't do it right now.
I can't help it. Yeah, this is what I think about. But yeah. We'll have much to talk about next week here. And once again, we'll have the interview with Skimbo. So that's going to do us for today's episode of Inside the Show. Make sure to follow us on Twitter. We're on twitter.com/Inside the Show PC. We're also on YouTube if you're watching us now. If you're not, sub over to YouTube, youtube.com/Inside the Show. You can follow my boy Kooks on his Twitter account, twitter.com/Kooks46. You find all of his socials over there. I'm at Scuffy Migi TV. You guys have fun building up your lineups. I'm very curious on how many different lineups you already have set up with all these new cards that we got this past week. But happy grinding. Hope you guys have enjoyed the new BR program that comes out tomorrow. We'll see you guys next time on Inside the Show.